Hello and welcome to the Preternatural Truth Podcast. I'm your Aussie host, Arne. Sit back, relax and listen to our audio listening podcast. Don't forget, if you want to see the video versions, you can find the link in the description box below. Please like, share and subscribe for more. Love to see you in the comments section and please stop by again. We have a very interesting topic of discussion for you tonight. The topic is ghosts and people having intimate sexual relationships with ghosts. So I'm going to go back and give a description of what people think a ghost is and what a ghost really is to start with. So there's a lot of people who think that ghosts are people who have crossed over, who have passed away, and sometimes they think that they get stuck in between this life and heaven and hell. The truth is, once we die, we either go to heaven or to hell, and it's not based on our works or whether we think we're a good person. Nothing to do with that. In fact, the Bible is quite explicit about whether we have come to salvation through Jesus Christ, and that will be the deciding factor of whether we go to heaven or hell. Now, getting back to tonight's topic, there's a growing number of people, and mostly women is what I'm hearing, although there could be men too. And they're having, as I said, sexual relations with what they think is a spirit. They're even to the point of calling these ghosts or spirits their boyfriend. And one case in the UK believed that she was going to marry this spirit. And it really is a spirit husband, okay? So in this episode, you're going to be hearing from people that have crossed that line, which we should never ever do that, because these are demonic entities, they're demons. And we're going to have a listen to 3 different stories here. And these are just taken from the internet on various programs. And one was the middle one, Kelly, was an actual interview I did myself. The reason I am doing these podcasts is not to ridicule these people. It's pretty horrific, but not to ridicule them. Obviously, these people are deceived, completely deceived, and have no idea about the spiritual realms and the truth apart from deception. So I'm exposing the deception and showing people the truth of such matters. So this is what this is all about. Let's take a listen.
Our next guest has always been a little bit sceptical about the paranormal world, but when Spirit Eduardo appeared in her bedroom one evening, she was far from spooked and she actually fell head over heels.
Well, now her ghostly lover, a Victorian soldier, is a regular visitor. Bracard joins us right now to tell us about her phantom partner.
Morning,
This is
Bracard.
incredible.
Thanks for joining us.
You obviously can see how it might look on the outside.
Yeah, of course. Like, I was sort of taking myself back to a time before this happened, and if someone said, oh, I'm in love with a ghost, I've been visited by this spirit, I'd be like, you sure? Are you okay? So, yeah, I can understand why people are totally sceptical, but...
So what happened? Like, how did this first come about?
Well, it was a really, really strange day. Like, it was one of those horrible days where thunderstorms, awful weather, like the typical horror movie day. Like, it was one of those horrible evenings.
Where were you?
I was at home, and I had one of those horrible days myself. Like, I'd fallen out with one of my friends. I was really, really upset. I was sort of tossing and turning, and I couldn't sleep. And it took me ages and ages to, like, I was literally lying there trying to fathom out what was going on in my kind of friendships and everything, kind of tossing, turning. And I literally just felt this burning sensation in my heart out of nowhere, like a really, really like warm, not a pain, but like a really, really warm, like my chest was exploding.
But you know that's not like a physical, did you, that
yeah,
wasn't
but
indigestion?
I mean, I've never had a heart attack before or anything like that, so I couldn't liken it to something, but it was a physical burning and a deep sensation in my chest.
Was it comforting or upsetting?
It was alarming at the beginning because I didn't know what was happening, and initially it was just really, really intense and I was struggling to breathe, and it passed really, really slowly throughout my stomach, all the way down my legs, like this sort of burning, and then like out through the bottom of my body. So it's like a sort of spirit passed all the way down, and then I was like propelled forward. So I was lying down in bed before and I was sort of bolted right straight upright, so I was rigid, like almost like, you know, when you watch those horror movies and the exorcist sort of propels forward.
So where's he then?
It was literally like that. It was literally like I was shaking and I was sweating and like clammy hands and tears like streaming down my face out of nowhere, and then nothing. Like then it literally went cold and I was just sitting there bolt upright. It was pitch black, I couldn't remember because this is in the middle of the evening. So I reached, like my gut instinct is like, what on earth is going on? I need to turn the light on.
Yep.
So I reached my hand back to my bedside table to turn the light on so I could get some clarity and figure out what was happening. And this hand like grabbed my arm and threw it back.
So he's in the bed already?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's standing next to me, stopping me from turning the light on. So this hand like shoots back towards my stomach and I'm like, okay, that's not right. So I try again to turn.
Did you think someone was like in the room?
I thought someone was there. Like I thought there was someone in the house. Like I was literally trembling.
Are you screaming or are you just in shock?
There was nothing coming out of my mouth, but I had like tears streaming down my face. Like I was literally like.
So, but when did you see him?
I reached back and put the light on, and this time I could sort of turn the light on and I saw like a figure just pass and then nothing. And to go from sort of extreme, like to have that feeling of extreme panic and to be crying and to be shaking, and then it was just complete calm. And I felt completely at peace. Like,
but listen, this is what I don't get. How you go from that, which is terrifying, to going out with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's your boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, was now your boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
So, where did the courtship start? Did he come back next day and say, "Oh, sorry about last night"?
Yeah, sorry about last night. Will you go out with me?
Don't stop that.
Yeah.
I'm just intrigued.
Yeah, will you go out with me?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So after that first encounter, like it was something that, you know, when you have a bad dream, you wake up the next day and you think, oh, that sort of stays with you a bit. This stayed with me for days and weeks and would not leave my mind. And over the course of time, like, things would just start to happen, like weird and wonderful things would start to happen. So, like, it kind of felt like there was this sort of a thing almost possessing my emotions. So various odd things would happen, like I'd be having a shower and little love hearts would appear. And then like really strange things, like I start to try and make a dialogue and try and make a communication, just like, who are you? Are you a spirit? Are you a ghost? Are you, like, why are you here? Like I was trying to piece it out. Like I was asking this like spirit, like, who are you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know, and I would have visions, and I'd have strong visions of who this person was, and they would like speak to me and communicate, and it would just sort of evolve over time. And it's kind of like been a year and a half now that this presence has been around, and it's just got progressively more and more intense. And I felt like there's almost like a jealousy kind of thing going on, because
So he gets jealous. So tell us all about him. His name's Eduardo.
yeah, he's called Eduardo.
So does he whisper in your ear and tell you that?
Yeah, like the first time, on that first occasion, he literally left with the words saying, "I love you." And I was like, what on earth is that? I will heal...
Bit soon.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you're keen, aren't you? Hi, nice to meet you.
One stage at a time, Eduardo.
Yeah, it's like, calm down, Eduardo, you're too keen. But yeah, he would literally like whisper in my ear, and like you'll feel like a breath of air going around your sort of body. So it'll be like there's a presence there. And sometimes I'll feel like I'm being sort of embraced. Like if I've had a hard day and I'm upset about something, I'll feel like these sort of hands surrounding me and almost following me, you know,
So
like...
do you feel, Brooke, sorry to interrupt, do you feel you're in a relationship with this guy? Like, are you magnanimous,
Just him?
Yeah, is it just, sorry, I've gone blank. Is it just him?
Yeah, like I literally
Exclusive
feel like there is
relationship, yeah.
someone that I have a loyalty to, because there will be a possession there. Like if I'm like writing a song and I'm writing a song about another guy or something, I'll find mysterious things will happen. So I'll leave my notebook on my desk and I'll come back to it and open it up and sort of try and pick up where I left off. And like words will be smudged or the paper will be slightly crumpled. And if I'm, say for example, if I'm going out for a night out with my friends, so I'll be getting all my makeup done, you know, even the thought of, oh, I might meet another guy or something like that, I'll be putting my lipstick on and I'll have like a jolt, like it's almost like someone's trying to like sabotage my...
sabotaging you, like
yeah,
meeting anyone else?
sabotaging my makeup.
Edward in our life and Eduardo in the difference, none of that. It's just pure Eduardo.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, it's literally... Yeah,
and are you open to dating real humans?
I don't know. I feel like this is like going back to the bare bones of what a relation, because it's very feeling and emotion driven, if that makes sense. So I feel like, you know, say when you date a normal person, there's all these sort of expectations, like, are they going to text me back? Are they going to take me for a nice dinner? Like, I quite like with this that it's sort of spontaneous and he can just sort of appear and make me feel something. Whereas it's not sort of like, oh, we're going on a date on Friday. Which restaurant do you want to go to? It's literally like, oh, I'm here.
And what do your, like, are you 100% convinced it's real? And what do your friends and family think?
I mean, I've questioned it a lot because obviously, like you said, it's a bit out there,
Sure.
and I've tried to like logicalize why these things are happening. I've tried to put like rational explanations on, oh, what could it be? Like, could it be my imagination? Could it be something else? And I can't find a logical conclusion that would do all of those things to my...
my parents and my grandparents had been in that when I was a child. I never really got taught as a Christian, even when I first became a Christian, that the occult was bad, or that, you know, that ghosts are actually demonic spirits in disguise. I was never told that. And so I turned to that, and I bought it. And the moment that I bought it, which I actually spoke to my mentor about this as well, and she said that it's interesting because the moment you even purchase an occultic item, even though it hasn't come to your house yet, it's still the enemy is a legalist, so it's still technically yours. So spiritual things still... Yeah, so things will still happen. So the moment I purchased it, like my husband bought an electric skateboard at the time. It was having issues in the mail, and like problems were just happening. He was having problems at work and all this stuff. So there was just a lot of negative things that were happening from the moment I purchased. And I don't know why. Like, I look back and I'm like, why was I not afraid? There were times when I was, like, as I drew more and more into it, I was getting afraid, really afraid. But then there were these other spirits that would come to me and say, oh, I'm going to protect you. Because I at this point, I was almost like addicted to it. Like, I had to use it. And I'd become I wouldn't go out besides work. Like, I'd work and then come home and use the Ouija board. Like, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to see anybody. I just wanted to stay home and use the Ouija board. Because it gave me that affirmation, and like it gave me those spiritual experiences that I wanted. And anyway, one day, before this happened, before the sexual encounters happened, because I was struggling a lot with with sexual things too, because like I have a very high like sex drive. Like I remember that the Ouija board was kind of pressuring me for more like sexual things. And at the time I thought, because I did struggle with lust, and I did struggle with having a very high sex drive and you know, wanting to do that. But I thought, oh, that's not possible. Like that can't be possible. Like there's no way that could be possible, because these are like spiritual things, you know, like how's that even meant to happen? But I remember sitting in the hallway one day, and I saw this like beast figure in my bedroom, and he was like going like this, and like, let me show you how it's done. Like I can show you how it's done if you learn from me. And I remember hearing this voice in my ear, and it said this like, I don't know what it was. I'm assuming it was from God, but it said this is a high price tag if you go along with this. Like having sex with demonic spirits is a high price tag. And had been walking with the Lord before, I knew exactly what that meant. Like I knew exactly in the fact that it meant that it would cost, like in the way of, I don't know how to describe it, but in the way of like sin. I don't know, like I think now that there's different, I don't know how to describe it, but I just remember it saying, this is a heavy price tag if you go along with this. And I didn't listen. So I decided to go along with it. And at first it was when I wanted to. So at first it was like, okay, I want to. And it was hard to describe. Like it felt like the real thing. It felt like the real thing. And that's where I was like, okay, this is possible. Like it honestly feels like the real thing. But as I said, the enemy, he doesn't care what we want, because eventually the more I did it, the worse it became. Like it was no longer my choice. It turned into full rape. Like I had no choice about any of it. And it got to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And things just got worse and worse. And during this time, actually, that's when I had the dream about the entrance to hell. So
When did you first encounter a spirit?
It would have been about 12 years ago now. I was living with my fiancé.
Yeah.
And he was working away a lot. We just moved into a new house in Hereford. And after a while, he was going away maybe 1 week, 2 weeks at a time. I started to feel kind of like a presence, maybe, I guess you could call it, around the house.
Yeah, which is some people would be a little scared of, but you weren't scared by it.
It never felt scary. It felt comforting, if anything.
And even when even when you were in, this all happened sort of in the spare bedroom. That was where it was, you know, at its most powerful. Even when it came up behind you and you could feel its breath on your neck, that still didn't freak you out.
Not at all, no.
So then you decided that you would take it to the next level, and you dressed in a very sexy negligee, and you went into the spare bedroom and turned the lights off and waited.
I did, yes.
And what happened?
I waited and waited for a while, and then I got a little bit worried. I thought maybe I'd scared it off by being too keen. Oh, okay. And then sort of just as I'd given up hope and was starting to fall asleep, it came to me. And
what happened?
I don't know what I can say on TV.
You described it as like, wait.
You had sex?
Yeah, I had sex with the ghost.
With a ghost?
Yeah. Yes.
But you can't wrap your arms around a ghost.
No.
So how physically, how does the sex bit happen?
You can still feel it. Like it was it's difficult to explain.
Like a weight.
Kind of a weight, but at the same time weightless, and like a physical. There's the breath and stroking, and the energy as well. I think the energy was a lot to do with it. Do you feel a connection?
And does a sexual experience with a ghost end in orgasm?
For me, yeah.
Right, gosh, so wow.
And for the ghost?
I just hope so.
And this relationship carried on for some time, and eventually you got busted by your boyfriend.
I did, yeah. I was. He came home from work a day early, And apparently, he says he saw the shape of a man through the spare room window when he pulled up.
Which is unusual because the spirit or ghost had never showed him his physical form to you at all.
Yeah,
and yet,
it's interesting.
to your fiancé, did.
Yeah. Which I was slightly annoyed about, to be honest, but I think it was in love with me too, and that
So
was
he wanted you to end your relationship, which it did. There have been many other spirits that have come to visit you.
Yeah.
And some have lasted sort of one time, but some have lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Are they very different sorts of relationships? Have they got different energies?
Yeah, you can always feel the difference. The same just with a human, I guess. You can just feel different presences,
so
different personalities.
It's not the same one coming back 20 times?
No, it's often different ones.
Kind of encounters before, as Eamon said, you're a medium, so why was this so personal? Why was the feeling different for you?
Because I fell in love with it, I guess. It's for one. We're hoping to get a hand fasting ceremony soon.
Oh, is that like a marriage?
Yeah, it's kind of like a spiritual marriage. Yeah. We were at Wiki Hole last weekend on a tour, and he asked me to hang back just from the rest of the tour group and proposed to me.
Well, in a shocking development, the ethereal engagement is now off. Oh. And Amethyst joins us now to explain why. Morning, Amethyst.
Morning,
Thank you
Amethyst.
for talking to us again. For anyone who is not aware of the story here, I just want to go back to what you knew about him when you met him in Australia, and what did you know about him? What was his job before he died, and how did he die?
I don't actually know how he died. I was told he was possibly a sailor by a medium.
But didn't he talk to you?
No, we kind of communicated through energies mostly, through energy and emotion, through feelings.
So whose suggestion was it on the plane back from Australia that you had sex in the loo? Was that just an energy thing, or did you have a discussion about that?
kind of an energy, I guess. Yeah.
OK, so, I mean, obviously things progressed, and last time that we saw you here on the show, you were talking about how much you'd fallen in love, and there was this proposal at Wiki Hole, so things were going really, really well. Where are you now?
So, now we've called a wedding off. It was going really well until we went on holiday, and that was about last May, and then he just completely changed.
In what way?
So I think maybe he fell in with a bad crowd when we were on holiday. He just started becoming really inconsiderate. He'd disappear for long periods of time. When he did come back, he'd bring other spirits back to the house and they'd just stay around for days. Like, yeah.
So this was Thailand you took him to, wasn't it? You went on a holiday to Thailand.
Yeah.
And so was there any explanation as to the people that he was bringing back with him? Because you thought he got into sort of drink and drugs.
Yeah, I think maybe he started doing drugs and partying a bit much. Because, like, they used to come back, these spirits would stay for days at a time, and they'd be, like, crashing and banging, strange noises.
So when you say he was doing drink and drugs, I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of people think, well, how is that possible? How does a ghost do drugs? And was he partying in the spirit world, or was he partying in this world?
Well, I think partying in both, judging by he'd disappear for a while and then come back to mine, so...
And so, yeah. You're used to spirits being around you, obviously, you've got engaged to one, but having these bad spirits, as you call them, his new friends, this bad crowd that he'd got involved with, you felt for the first time what it would be like to have a haunted house.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never had negative experiences with spirits before, but this felt pretty scary. There was one spirit that would just follow me around the house constantly, and I'd constantly feel his presence on me. There's another one that just used to leave a lingering bad smell wherever he went, and then just constant strange noises, things being moved, like
breakups are never easy. So how did you broach the subject with Ray that you had to end the relationship?
I tried to talk to him, and I gave him one chance after another, and he just didn't change.
So eventually I ended up placing black tourmaline around the house, which keeps spirits away. I did a sage cleansing, incantations. I just had to get rid of him as you would any other spirit, really.
And do you miss him? I mean, he was part of your life and you were in love with him. Do you miss him?
Of course, yeah.
And the family miss him as well. I think your sister was going to be a bridesmaid at Wiki Hole, and so she's sad about missing the wedding.
Yeah, she was. She's sad. Ray's family I've had a little bit of contact with, and they're just sad about how he's behaving more than anything.
And of course, I suppose he can't come back if you've got black tourmaline all around the house. He won't be able to come back in anyway. It's like locking him out. Is she frozen?
No.
Cow.
Maybe that was Ray.
That's Ray. That's Ray. That's Ray. We have met Ray before. If we try and get her back, this is me chatting to.
Or Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. They've talked about their experiences having sex with demons. It's like a thing now. Even BuzzFeed had an article about how you can conjure up spirits so that you can engage in sexual activity with them, which sounds nuts. But, you know, in the end days, you will have people engaging in the same type of behavior that people engaged in the days of Noah. Jesus says, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the coming of man. Also notice that Jesus mentions Lot, and Lot was a man who lived in Sodom and Gomorrah, and God sent 2 angels to Lot's house, and the men of the city surrounded Lot's house and said, give us these men, these angels to have sex with. And they were struck with blindness, and then God destroyed the entire city. So again, people having sex or wanting to have sex with spirit beings.